you if we tried to tell the world what was going on, because you're always told as a survivor, nobody's ever going to believe you. And as you can see, people disappear or die or become sitting ducks, or they get messed with by the FedEx man, or somehow something happens with the postman, and or somebody is drowning in a bathtub or in a shallow river somewhere on a paddleboard. That's what happens to people when they start speaking the truth, right? To unpack, digest, and follow. I need a minute, right? Understandable. Some people thought we were absolutely freaking crazy. Some people thought, like, I'm just okay. She's completely lost it.
The FBI might be getting slapped with a nasty lawsuit any day from now, and it all has to do with those allegations Allie Carter made a while back about Diddy having people's kids caged up. At the time when she spilled the tea about all this, people called her all kinds of crazy and even asked for her to be put in a mental health facility. But guess what? It turns out it was all true, and now the parents of those kids are preparing to file a class action lawsuit against the FBI for ignoring Allie's claims. What makes the situation even worse is that Allie wanted to testify about this on the stand during Diddy's trial, but the prosecutors allegedly dropped her as a witness after they found out that she was going to talk about it. Allie started exposing Diddy a while back when she claimed that when she was just 15, she was SA'd and kidnapped by Diddy. She said she was sent to a secret location, and while she was there, she saw some disturbing things that were being done to other kids that were even younger than her. Apparently, Diddy and his associates had this ritual where they'll touch on the kids inappropriately and record the whole thing on camera. They forced the youngins to do freaky things with animals, including horses and dogs. Aside from this, they would also take turns sleeping with these youngins. According to Allie, some of the boys who they found attractive were starved for days prior to the freak-offs, so they wouldn't douche during the act of grown men cracking them.
Graphic. But right now, I think a lot of people are not ready for someone to tell you that there are 3-4-year-olds that people take pride in sticking bars up children. I don't think people are going to be able to stomach the fact that people tie 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old children to horse stables and have horses and dogs raise them, and then they get off on that. I don't think people are going to be able to stomach the fact that people hang children upside down in satanic ritual abuse meetings, and they literally hang them. Literally, by metal prongs, they hang them to get blood dripping out of them, and people go up under and like you're under a rainfall to take their blood. There are situations that I don't think people are ready for. We're not touching the seriousness of trafficking. Like, the videos that I've made, the videos that I've started to make, this is not even touching. This is the gist of it, and I think so many people are quick to raise a sign and say adrenochrome, but you don't know what it means, and you don't know why it's such a thing, why it's such a strong thing in trafficking, and how what makes it so strong. You know that they're drinking children's blood, but you don't know what they're doing to those children to make their blood strong enough to cause something to flip your system in order to keep you in the fountain of youth. No one believes that because it sounds like an unreal horror Disney movie that someone wrote. You know what I'm saying?
It kind of is.
Now, as I said, Allie was initially meant to testify in court, but once they found out she was going to talk about these things she saw, they took her out of the witness list because they wanted her to talk more about Diddy's freak-offs instead of focusing on what he was doing to those kids. A lot of people believe the prosecutors never actually cared to put Diddy away for his crimes. They just wanted to humiliate him by exposing his freak-offs. If they allowed Allie to get on that stand and talk about the caged up kids, it would lead to other powerful people in the industry, including politicians, and that's not what they want.
100 witnesses on the case, and I don't know if they even got through all of those witnesses, but Maureen Comey is the prosecutor of this case, in New York City, and she never asked about the children. And there's so many people who wanted me to be a witness on this trial, and I want to explain jurisdiction.
Allie said the feds knew about Diddy's shenanigans since the early 2000s, but sat back and let him get away with it for years till Cassie came through with that lawsuit. Her lawsuit forced them to finally care and do something about it instead of watching him wild out for years, but that's not even the half of it. She said a bunch of folks were in on it and they kept quiet because the money was coming into their pockets in exchange for their silence. From the hotel workers cleaning up after those nasty freak-off parties, to hotel managers deleting camera footage like it's part of their job, even bodyguards getting paid to blow up cars and kidnap people. And don't forget the DA, they were out here trying to play dumb, acting like they didn't know some illegal activities were going on until all those lawsuits started raining down.
The FBI covered it up for how long? This case was back in 2000, early 2000, right? So let's talk about who's guilty here. The DOJ released a video that at first everybody said they couldn't find a video of Cassie Ventura being. They couldn't find it. It didn't exist. You saw one clip, and then you saw DOJ release another clip to the news. So the DOJ had that clip to begin with. So the people who are telling you that they don't have the Epstein file, they're full of shit. What other way do you want me to explain that? They're lying to you. The ones that are telling you, Pam Bondi, that she only had a little bit, it's bullshit. Bullshit. Because they told you the same thing, and now you're seeing it with the Sean Combs case. They told you they just had a little bit of a video, and then it got released. That's on the DOJ. They lied to you. They told you that nothing happened, that this man, Sean Combs, was just this rap mogul that everybody loved. No, he couldn't have hurt nobody. He couldn't have did anything. And then all this stuff came out. Well, he did that. But yeah, he couldn't have did anything else. And then something else came out. Okay, well, maybe he did that too. But he couldn't have did anything else. And then something else comes out. How many people did you hear say, I left a party early? I knew about the abuse. I knew about children being there. I knew about him the hell out of females. I knew about the parties going on with multiple people, so it wasn't just Sean Combs. I knew about all of that, but I left early. So guilty. How many people did you hear say about Cassie Ventura that I knew that she was being abused? I knew that she was wrong. I knew what he was doing, but I'm just now speaking about it. Guilty.
Coward.
How many maids did it take to clean up a penthouse suite? Know that there was blood and glass everywhere, but they kept their mouth shut because they got paid. Guilty. So we're not talking, let's go back down to the bottom. The hotel manager that you guys never seen his face at first of this hotel, he heard the beat. He heard the screaming. He knew what was going on. He knew that Sean Combs was in there. He knew that he had other girls with him. He knew what was going on. He had the footage. He talked to the security. That hotel manager is who took that footage from the security and said, okay, hand me some money or help me be quiet. I'm going to shut the hell up. You did not hear anything from that hotel manager until now. But they told you, that hotel manager, if you would have went back then, they would have told you, no, we don't know anything. Cover up. Guilty. The security that were on shift that night, that knew about this footage, that knew he dragged her down the hallway, that knew he kicked her in the back and all over the place. The hotel security that knew about that, they looked away. They got paid off. Guilty.
The crazy thing is, when Allie initially disappeared and people didn't know she was in witness protection, Jaguar was one of the first people to advocate for her to be found, and she even went off on us for ignoring Allie when she tried to warn us about what was going on in the industry.
But see, when Allie Carter came back and, also addressed it, a good face, I tried to say all the right things. I tried not to compromise everybody. I tried. And guess what?
At what moment did it not work? Like, were you like, man? Fuck.
Sitting with my son's corpse. For what was the question that loomed about my mind? For what?
Jack, can I ask you, when we see you working with the Roots, you got a Coca-Cola commercial, your album's coming out, you're on Song Cry with Jay-Z for the MTV Unplugged.
I was on the whole show.
Yeah, at what point?
Thank God, Mary sucks.
Where did the train stop? Like, at what moment did you feel like either you removed yourself or you were removed?
The second that I decided I had to walk away, because I knew if I stayed, I was gonna either be unalived or have to unalive. I sat on Pierce Morgan and I said, he's gonna start little fires everywhere and force everyone else to carry water while he walks away with no response. Isn't that what we've seen happen ever since I did Pierce Morgan?
Allie wasn't just upset with the feds for not taking her seriously. She was also upset with people for not taking her seriously. She said a lot of people just sensationalize the victims by turning them into internet memes instead of being treated as the actual victims they are. But it doesn't end there.
Never thinks about the victims. Nobody. The victims' lives get turned around when the predator's lives want to just get announced. You slap them on the wrist and you bring up every source of trauma for the victim. But nobody wants to stop and think about that. We're not talking about the victims that are still going through this right now with other people who are running to cover their and deleting their social media.
Allie also spilled some tea about Diddy's pig night parties, and according to her, she got the idea from Hugh Hefner. According to sources, Hugh would sit at the head of the table smoking his famous pipe while the hookers drank and ate with movie and TV stars. They say the girls would get ratings and quick medical checks before slipping out of the room for rendezvous with the celebs. While folks in the mansion knew what Hefner and his cohorts labeled the evening, they say he insisted the prostitutes were never to be called pigs, nor were they told what everyone around them was calling the event behind their backs.
Tonight, Hefner had two bring up 5 or 6 girls each in their cars.
It was girls that they would pick up on Sunset Strip. At that time, Sunset Boulevard was a very big prostitution place. That's where you went to pick up somebody.
It was called Pig Night, but we as butlers were always told, do not call them pigs. This was Hefner's term for them. I don't know why he called them pig.
But as I said, Allie claims Diddy was inspired by Hugh's behavior and started to also do his own version of this night, but with kids. She also accused Tyra Banks, Megan Fox, and even Steve Harvey of allegedly being part of the celebrities responsible for these people's trauma. She said this is why they were all suddenly flying out of the United States and going to countries with no treaty with the United States when Diddy was exposed, just in case they were also exposed too.
Talking about the victims that are still going through the right now with other people who are running to cover and deleting their social medias. Pink, Megan Fox, Tyra Banks, Steve Harvey. Why are you running?
Now, if only the FBI had not ignored Allie and actually taken her seriously right from the start, most of these hidden tunnels with virgins would have been found a long time ago, but they didn't. And just when it looked like they were going to finally give her the benefit of the doubt, they dropped her from testifying, only for everything she said to turn out to be true. Allie even said the reason she held back from speaking about this for so long is because she knew people weren't going to believe her. And she clearly wasn't wrong, because they haven't been believing her at all, even though she has dropped recruits for everything.
Speaking the truth, right? So we knew that in 2020, if we started talking to y'all, there was no way that a lot of you would have believed us off the bat. Okay, that's fine with me. I understand. It's the internet. Totally understandable. Don't believe me off the bat. Please don't just take my word as gold. I am not as an influencer. Okay, I'm just telling you what I know. All right, but it's also around you, so you can take the information that I'm giving you and go out into the world and see that I am not trying to influence anybody. Neither is my mama. We would love to have some peace, okay? So in 2020, we went viral. We understood what you guys are seeing right now. We have been through what y'all are seeing right now, from the Epstein to the Diddy to so on and so forth. We understood that.
As usual, people had their own thoughts, like this person who said, it's totally ridiculous. From the moment jurors are picked, they should be made to be securely housed together and guarded well and kept that way for the duration of trial. Especially in high-profile, powerful, rich people, it's disgusting and shameful what some victims go through and then treated horribly while the predator is given way more rights and nicer treatment than they deserve. Another person said, Diddy is a monster who needs to stay behind bars for the rest of his life. I believe Allie and praying that the Lord keeps her safe, but now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about Allie being proven right after years of being ignored? And don't believe there are more victims being locked up who still haven't been found? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.